Donnie, everybody wants to hear you break down the closing game of the wild card weekend. Seahawks, Eagles. Seahawks, Eagles. Prince of the City says, or is asking if I'm hedging with the Russell Wilsons, a.k.a. the Seahawks, saying I should. I have not yet, but I have kind of let go of all my Philadelphia futures and was surprised. I didn't hedge, though, with the Cowboys there on Week 16, which was a good move. Seattle opening up at -1.5. There are twos on the board. There is a 2.5 at Bovada. This total opened up at 46, now down to 45.5 or 45. And again, pretty nice weather for this time of year. I mean, it's cold, but not that cold, and it's windy, but not that windy. 38 Fahrenheit, partly cloudy, 9 miles per hour. Seahawks 7-1 on the road going into Philly. Seattle lost their last 2 regular season games and now have to play on the road. Russell Wilson being spectacular, but he certainly did not look the same without a viable running game. And that's what you can say they don't have right now. Bringing in Marshawn and Turbin. Come on. Tyler Lockett, their number 1 receiver, he caught for 51 or less yards in 6 out of his last 7 games. We know, and Donnie's been talking about all year, how bad the Seahawks defense is. 27th against the pass, 22nd against the run. I mean, the offense and Russell Wilson are the Seahawks' chance. And all of a sudden, Carson Wentz is a superstar. You know, did not throw an interception his last 4 games. He's looking very, very good. Donnie will give us an update on Miles Sanders. He's been very good all year, dealing with the ankle injury. But Jordan Howard, Boston Scott, ready to go. Injury still a huge issue for the Eagles offense. No Deshaun Jackson, no Alshon Jeffrey. And then Zach Ertz and Nelson Aguilar are questionable. I know Donnie will have the inside information on that. And then we have the against the spread numbers for the Seahawks. 5-0 in their last 5 games against the Eagles. The Seahawks are 5-1 against the spread in their last 6 wildcard games. And they're 10-3-2 against the spread in the last 15 games following an against the spread loss. Donnie Rightside, are you backing your boys on Sunday night?
This is an awesome one. And kudos to the NFL for getting this right, because to me, these are the 2 weakest teams in the NFL playoffs, and they're going to square off against each other. So if you're looking from a positive perspective from Seattle and losing last week and not winning the division, they get the Philadelphia Eagles. And if you look from the Philadelphia Eagles perspective, they get the Seattle Seahawks. It's perfect. Both these teams think they can win. Now, having said that, Russell Wilson, to me, and again, I always say it on Twitter, and if you probably can go back since I've been on Twitter, he's worth his weight in gold. He should sit out the end, however the season ends, and say, I want 51% ownership of this football team, or I'll never play again, because it's a 4-12 team without him. They're bad on defense. I mean, Bobby Wagner's a sensational middle linebacker, maybe even Hall of Fame worthy if he has a couple more good years. He hasn't been that great. Outside of him, Jadeveon Clowney's on one leg. The secondary stinks. The offensive line stinks. They have no running backs, and they have very average wide receivers. They still should beat the Philadelphia Eagles, but now we're getting back into it. Last time they took the field in Philadelphia, you got bludgeoned in the running game. Penny was amazing in that game, over 100 yards, breaking away big play. He's gone. Chris Carson is unstoppable in that. He's gone in this game as well. He's gone as well. So everybody was really excited last week with Marshawn Lynch and his 15 carries for 30 yards in a cloud of dust, and you get to throw Skittles out there. He's going to be a great running back from the 1-yard line. Outside of that, he's absolutely useless. But I did like what last week when you saw Travis Homer out of Miami come in and fill that void and look like a very capable running back. That'll be tough to do. But from the first time we saw them play earlier this year, you had Jadeveon Clowney was inactive in that game. I'm not so sure even he is going to play in this game. I don't know how effective he's going to be, but also you had Lane Johnson was inactive in that first game. He's going to play in this football game. You also had an Eagles team still trying to figure things out without Deshaun Jackson obviously in the lineup, as well as Alshon Jeffrey and also Nelson Aguilar in the slot. They were all 3 out. They're a much better team from the wide receiver position than they were in that football game. Miles Sanders, who's not practiced all week, got an injury in the last football game. He looks like he's going to go Sunday. Boston Scott, the emergence. There's a lot of positives that you could take a look at the Philadelphia Eagles in this game going up against the Seattle Seahawks. If the Seattle Seahawks had Chris Carson, it's a no-brainer. They're just bludgeoning the Eagles and Russell Wilson to make a couple plays like he usually does in this game. Early in the week, I'm saying, look, Seattle should win this football game, and I still think they should win this football game. But if Zach Ertz is going to come back, if Miles Sanders is going to play in this football game, they're going to be hell on wheels in this game. And it's hard to fly West Coast to East Coast and win. Neither one of these teams can run away. As I said, they're the two worst teams in the NFL playoffs. It's going to be a close one. If I had to put my money on it right now, probably going to roll Russell Wilson just because it's Russell Wilson. But if you get a healthy report coming in on Sunday on the Eagles, it's going to be a tough one, man.
Jake Bell says Russell wills them to victory. Levi Kressler says Wilson is made for these moments. Joe Rich says Wentz is still a bum. It will show this weekend. Billy Boxer says Seahawks have had one of the toughest schedules all season. The Eagles, on the other hand, have had a cakewalk schedule. TJ Parks hammering the under. Rye Cape says I'll probably be on the under as well. Prince of the City says that's fine. The Eagles don't have any defensive backs. Jake Bell liking Seattle. Rye Cape says because so many teams have easy playoff wins in Philadelphia. RB Fern says love the Hawks. 7-1 on the road, 8-2 out of the division. Beat the Niners and lost them on a difference of a half yard. And everyone loves the Niners. Hawks being massively undervalued. Whale Capper, take it away. Seahawks, Eagles.
Yeah, I played the Seahawks here a couple of different ways. Earlier in the week, I got them on the money line when they were plus money. Even now at -1.5, I see value on Seattle. I love the matchup of their wide receiving core against the Philadelphia Eagles defensive backfield. I know that the Eagles defense definitely elevates their level of play when they're at home in these nighttime environments. But it's all based on pass rush. It's all based on having all these big bodies on the D-line that can get after the quarterback. And what we just saw with Russell Wilson against the San Francisco 49ers D-line, a comparable unit, he was able to evade the rush, move fluidly in the pocket, and with 7, 10, 8 seconds, the pocket crumbling, about to get sacked. What does he do? He makes a 15-yard completion look easy. And I think that there's going to be a healthy dose of Russell Wilson passing in this game that is going to elevate the Seattle Seahawks total points scored, which is going to really put a lot of pressure on Carson Wentz making his first ever playoff start with virtually no weapons going for him. Even if Ertz is out there, he looks pretty limited with the way he was, way he's kind of, stumbled down the stretch here, which means it's going to be all, the Dallas Goedert show, the Miles Sanders show, the Boston Scott show. Even against a very poor defense in Seattle, I don't know that these guys are going to be able to go score for score with Russell Wilson and company. I think that really Seattle in that San Francisco game made a couple of adjustments at halftime that I think if they can continue to play that way that they played in the second half against the Niners, they are a team no one wants to play in the NFC. Russell Wilson is the best quarterback in the NFC. And I think the Seahawks get a win in Philadelphia, although I don't think it's especially comfortable. I really I just made a case for Minnesota and the points and Seattle laying the points here. But at the same time, I think both of these games are going to be relatively close compared to the number that's hanging out there right now. An Eagles-Saints teaser isn't the worst play on the board on Sunday. Both of those are in the Wong teaser zone. And I think this one ends relatively high-scoring affair. We'll say, 24-23, something along those lines, with Seattle eking out a victory. Actually, 26-23. Sorry, I forgot I laid 1.5 points. 26-23, where the Eagles come flying home and come close to getting the backdoor cover, or come close to coming up with the comeback win, but can't quite get it done. Basically, every Seattle game we've seen this season has been super dramatic, super fun to watch. I expect this one will be no different, given that the environment at the Link is so exciting and so full of energy. So should be a fun contest. Perfect way to end the wild card weekend. And Seattle moves on for a rematch with the San Francisco 49ers.
Which we all want to see. There's no doubt about that. Future bets or no future bets. Joe Rich Ramirez just called that a perfect breakdown. We should not have him say another word then. Let's just leave it at that perfect breakdown. Prince of the City says, me and Andrew finally agree, because we know Prince of the City fades everything that his hometown Philadelphia is offering him. Jeff Billings likes the Eagles with the points, the money line, the over, and the Eagles team total over, and Eagles first half. Bullish on these Eagles. And then we had some very interesting stuff. Clint Richardson, largest strength of schedule difference between two teams in NFL playoff history. So Clint is taking Seattle. Let's talk about this total. Adam Olin says, I'm stuck on this total. It opened at 46. You can still get it there at Pinnacle, although there's been quite a massive move to the under in that, at least 11 cents. 45.5 or even 45 everywhere else. We got a final score from the Whale Capper 26-23. We got a final score from Drew Barron 21-20. It says Seattle wins. Seattle -1.5 and Eagles moneyline bettors lose. Donnie right side, over or under 45.5 in Seahawks Eagles.
Playoff games outside probably would lean more towards the under. I mean, Wentz and the Eagles have been really fantastic over the past couple weeks on offense. But then again, you could see the level up of competition. The Washingtons of the world stink. You know, the teams that they've beaten up on, so to speak. Even last week against the Giants, that's a nice cut. You don't have very many weapons on offense. You're still able to score. It'll be a little bit different here because both teams are going to come out and establish the run. Jordan Howard, who didn't play in the first game versus Seattle, going to be active for this football game. So we'll see if they sort of lean on the running game. And when you're coming from a Seattle perspective here, do you really want to just go 5 wide and open it up and see what you can do with Russell Wilson? Or you're going to say, you know what? I'm not so sure that Philadelphia Eagles can score all that much, so let's play it a little bit closer to the vest. I lean on the under in this type of environment in this game, Jimmy.
Wow. Very, very, very exciting spots. Jake Bell has the over 46. That's Jake Bell's spot. Brooklyn Funk Project going on the over 5. Looks of Disbelief by Pete Carroll in this game. And we have Robbie Tagaloa, the Samoan Thunder, joining us. All right.